Hey guys, my name is Heather Lindsey.
And my name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And I'm so excited that you landed on Life with the Lindseys.
This is so exciting. This gives us an opportunity to share our life with yours.
Yes, we're going to be talking about everything from entrepreneurship to ministry to your purpose to why you are here, family, parenting, relationships, marriage, sex, you name it. We are talking about it.
So thank you so much for joining us today with Life with the Lindseys. Enjoy it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Life with the Lindseys, man.
Yay, how are you guys?
We back.
We're so excited to have you guys back. So last week we did a podcast episode on dating in 2020 and it went really well, I feel like.
Man, y'all cornered me. It was like, it was three of y'all chickas and y'all was, y'all, I don't know. I just felt outnumbered. There's a lot of estrogen in the room.
And there's a lot of testosterone in this room.
Because I got two fellas in the house and we get an opportunity to talk to them.
This is part two.
about dating in 2020. Because last week, I mean, you know, the guests were dope. I mean, they were amazing. But yeah, we gotta get a male spread. I don't think it could have been any worse than what we tackled last week.
Babe, Charles is in the room, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous.
Oh, man, that's good. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm nervous too. But hey, since we're right now in the biggest game, we're right now all participants in the biggest game of cooties in the world, and we're all on the sick and shut in list. Here we are, ain't got nothing else to do. We're about to talk about dating in 2020. You have something to take your mind off of this coronavirus stuff. So, okay, first question, guys.
Wait, first we need to introduce them, like we did with the other two.
Oh,
right?
that's what we did. I didn't know we introduced them.
Just so people have perspective. So last week, Agatha has been divorced and she's dating and on dating apps, and Brittany single, celibate, and she's not on dating apps. So you want to tell a little bit about your kind of background and yours real quick?
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Charles James. I am 30 years old. I have been divorced now for about 7.5 years, and I am currently casually dating here and there, but for the most part, just focused on building and having a good time. Like a single man.
Well, I can't wait to address that whole
good time.
Casual thing.
He said he's having a good time.
We're going to talk about that. All right.
I can't wait.
My boy, Zach. What's going on, Zach?
Nothing much. So my name is Zacchaeus Jackson. I've been engaged twice and I am currently in a relationship now. So but dating,
okay.
Yeah, dating, courting, better terms.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So this should be really exciting. I'm ready. Like
engaged twice. I heard that. I know somebody else was like, "Dang, you've been engaged twice, God." Nah.
I would rather be engaged 10 times and married 10 times. Oh. Come on, at least he knew to get out.
That's good, Pastor Heather. That's really good. That's really good, Pastor Heather. All right. So first question, since now we know who everybody is. All right. So Charles, we talked about last week on type, and this question, let me form a question like this. So last week we asked them like, what was your type? And it was Agatha that we asked. They said, okay, would you date a white man? And her response was, sure, I'll date a white man. And I said, hold up, you'll date a white, it's okay for you to say you'll date a white man. But if I were to say that I was going to date a white woman as a black man, then I would be persecuted for it. And I don't feel like I got any love after I said that. So here I am to just say, I guess this two-part question. First part of it is, what is your type? Do you even have a type? Do you even believe there should be a type? And then should you be limited to the type that you want based on what society deems is important for you to have your type as? You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
For me, my type is very, very simple. My type is fine.
Yes.
That's it. Like, and fine. Someone who's an excellent communicator.
Okay.
Someone who's emotionally mature.
Okay. Because you've been married before, so you already know.
I've been married before, so someone who's mature enough to handle conflict resolution. Someone who is mature enough to say, I'm going to allow Charles to be Charles. Oh. And Charles is going to create an environment for me to be me. Mm-hmm. And doesn't mean that we're not pursuing personal growth in our natural life, in our spiritual life, in our emotional life.
Right.
But somebody who looks at me and says, if Charles doesn't ever change, I'm good with it. If he stays where he is right here, I'm good with it. If you go into I believe a relationship starts to get a little frustrating when you go into it trying to change somebody with the intent that you're going to change them and they're going to be like this.
Yeah.
I think it's more healthy when you have somebody that loves you, but you also have somebody to contend with, somebody that loves you for where you are and who you are genuinely. And then also somebody who pushes you to be what they know you could be.
Right.
And that kind of balance. So for me, it's fine and mature. So if that fineness is wrapped up in an Asian girl, a black girl, a white girl, whatever, I prefer a certain shape.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, I don't really have any racial discrimination. I look at it as beautiful is beautiful, inward and outward.
You mentioned something, though, that I wanted to touch on. You stated that she has to be willing to allow for Charles to be Charles.
I'm a little ratchet. Just a little bit.
No comment whatsoever. You have to be willing to let Charles be Charles. Because I know with my wife and I, it took us, we've been married to be 10 years this year.
Woohoo.
Yeah. It took us, what do you say, 8 years?
Yeah.
Or 8.5 years?
Yeah.
To finally come to the terms of me looking at my wife and saying, hold up, I'm going to be Cornelius. Mm-hmm. And then she's shocked because she's like, hold up, who is Cornelius? And I'm like,
because he wasn't who he is now.
Yeah. Now, and I was like, well, this is who I've always been. I just wasn't this way around you because I felt like I needed to be a certain person in order to live up to the standard of what everybody else says this husband or this man is supposed to be. But then I was losing myself. So I say all that to say, how important is it in this dating, and how important is it? I mean, for you to even mention it, how important is it for the women to understand that it's important to allow for this man to be himself? And the second part of the question is, what parts of him should she continue to allow for him to be himself in before it becomes dangerous and toxic?
Absolutely. I think first, the responsibility falls on the man because I think the man needs to be integrated with who he is enough to kill the representative. And that's something that happened with me that I feel like was very healthy post-divorce. Just one of the blessings for me post-divorce was when I approached women going forward, I didn't have rose-colored glasses on. I wasn't looking through the lenses of this overly romantic lovey-dovey thing, but then I also wasn't looking through the lens of nihilism and hopelessness and relationships just don't work. So I came into the relationship saying, okay, you like me, right? This is who I am. With no straight, no chaser though, because I feel like it's important. If you're leading with the representative and you don't know who you are, you continue to play that character throughout the relationship. And then once you get comfortable enough with you, and then that person is looking at you like, who is this person that I married? And I never wanted to do that. I want, for the next time that I get married, I want them to always see Charles 100% of who he is, how I talk. Now, as far as the toxic traits, you have to be integrated with your personality enough and know who you are enough to know what's unhealthy. Yeah. It's what I'm not saying is you're going to accept every single thing about me. You're going to accept every single thing about me, even if it's bad. Right. Because I think you should be, it's very important for you to know yourself enough to know where you're toxic and what needs to change. Right. So in the way that you communicate, if it's toxic, if you have any addictions or any secret secret issues that need to be addressed. We're not just going to accept it. We're going to walk through the process of deliverance with grace and love, and we're going to hold each other accountable.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Right.
I didn't hear you mention that she has to be a believer.
That goes without saying.
Is it?
That goes without saying.
I think you got to say that, right? Because if she's fine, she got to love Jesus too, right?
Absolutely. She's fine and she got to love Jesus.
I heard every woman be like, but he didn't say that. So I think just for our listeners.
It's good to have a woman in the room to get detailed, because I didn't, I thought I did too. I was like, did you hear that? I thought that was like a given.
A woman who does not love Jesus doesn't even have a chance. She shouldn't even come within 100 feet of him.
That's just like saying getting a hamburger with no ketchup on it.
Yes.
Maybe some people are allergic to ketchup.
Oh my gosh.
Some
people are allergic to no.
Okay, so let's go over to Zach. Zach, let's talk about what is your type.
My God.
And in a short paragraph, tell us, why do you think those two engagements ended?
Sure. So my type, I actually can coincide with Charles on this, is fine and mature. And I think that, a little background on my first two engagements. My first engagement, wasn't of my doing. Like, I didn't call it off. It was called off. And a piece of that goes to another aspect, which I would add to Charles's, which is ready to be led. I feel like a lot of women want to be led, but when you actually start to go into leading, then they want to press the brakes. They want to pump the brakes. They want to say, hold on now. I ain't ready for that. But that kind of goes into, once again, like my first engagement being called off. God prompted me to do something, to move down here to Atlanta. And when I was obedient, everything started to fall apart. You know what I mean? Like with the relationship, at first it was support. And then after a while, I think it was just some nervousness, some not knowing where I was going, not knowing what was going to happen and things of that nature. So I was like, you know what? I have an option either to be obedient to God or to hold so tight to this relationship that I be disobedient to God, which as a leader is not the right move, because later on, what's going to happen is our family, whatever we have established, the grounds are on faulty ground. It's going to disintegrate anyway. So my first engagement ended because of that. And my second engagement ended on the note of when Charles said, let Charles be Charles. I was in a relationship I felt where I was dating potential. I was dating what I believed she could have become. And I was not comfortable with how long it could have taken for her to get there. And I had to be real with myself, like, okay, why am I holding so tight on this relationship? And a lot of that came from, having an engagement called off on me. I didn't want to be the one to call off another engagement. And then also in the back of my mind, like, I'm going to be the second time being engaged and not, getting married. So a lot of that, tied into, once again, right now, why those didn't work out. But to break it down to my type, fine and mature, I have to be able to want her for her and who she is right now. If she never changes, I have to be okay with that. If she never does anything except grow with God, I have to be okay with that. Like if what she's doing right now and how she is right now, with the aspects of having a mind of being, having aspirations and goals and stuff that she wants to accomplish to go along with what it is that I believe that God has called me to do, because she is to be a helpmate. So she is to help in some way in the vision and the mission that God has shown me. But at the same time, like I have to be able to love her for her and be able to be with her for her.
Now I have a question, but we're going to ask this question as soon as we come back from this break.
So lately I've been noticing, babe, you take this powder and you put it in your water and you shake it up and you're swearing by it. You've got to tell us about it.
So liquid hydration, liquid IV is absolutely amazing. Let me tell you something. So I'm in the house. I like to get on my Peloton. I like to do my mirror. I like to go outside and run. Typically I will drink this before I put it in 16 ounces of water, and I'll drink it before I work out. And I like to sip it after I work out as well. No matter if I'm traveling, no matter what I'm doing, I love to do it. Thankfully, there's Liquid IV, the fastest, most efficient way to stay hydrated. Liquid IV is the fastest growing wellness brand. It is non-GMO, vegan, free of gluten, dairy, and soy, all clean ingredients. It is so effective effective, y'all. 1 stick of liquid IV and 16 ounces of water can give as much hydration as 2 to 3 bottles of plain water. Now, here's the thing. Right now, you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code LWL at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Just go to liquidiv.com and enter promo code LWL to save 25% and get better hydration. I love this stuff, y'all. That's liquidiv.com, promo code LWL. Don't wait. Start properly hydrating today. Get it today. Liquid IV.
All right, we're back. Okay, I gotta ask this.
I got a question though.
Okay,
From the women,
all right,
I feel the women burning.
Hold on, do we have the same question though? Is what I,
all right, let me, I just feel like both of our guests are saying like they want to be accepted for who they are, but I feel like a lot of men are not accepting women for who they are.
Hold up.
No.
Okay, all right.
I feel like that's real though. It's like a lot of women might struggle with submission. They might struggle with they might not see a healthy marriage. And so now we're meeting, these men, right? These Adams, and they're trying to figure it out and we're trying to figure it out. And you're like, you need to let me be me, but hold up. You're not letting me be who I am. Absolutely. Right? And who I am might be strong. It might be, boisterous. It might be those different things. I'll be refined in time. Yeah. But I feel like sometimes people want marriages ready-made or 10 years in, but you got to put the work in. Come on, keep it real, babe. Even before we got down here, I wanted to post this one thing so bad, but you told me that I should not post it. But little Johnny on the inside of me wanted to post it so bad, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna listen to my husband. He sees something I don't. You know what I mean?
There's a little kid inside of you named Johnny.
It's a little Johnny. I got little Johnny and I got Boom Shika, and they both just come out.
They're both bad.
I have told her many times, do not.
But it comes out because I feel like when you met me, babe,
it's not even like Boom Shika. It's more like Karen.
Gotcha. Johnny and Karen.
It's like Johnny and Karen.
Johnny and Karen just come out. Like, why can't I post this? It's so funny.
Karen wants to talk to the manager. Karen is not happy.
So
Karen, that's your Karen. Are you been calling about? I've been trying to tell you for like the past 13 years. It is not Boom Shika.
You're right.
It is Karen.
It's Karen.
Karen. It is Karen. Karen gets mad. Karen wants justice, and she wants it
refund
now. Karen wants a refund. That's what Karen wants, justice and a refund.
But what do you?
Karen will call down and speak to the manager in a heartbit. But yes, okay.
And I get a lot of refunds in.
You do, Karen. You do, Karen.
Because it's the right thing.
You do, Karen.
So I don't know. This is what I was thinking about when you were saying that, like, Christ, like, we as men are told to love your wife, of course, in this scenario, your wife like Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
And when you think about new believers, people who come to Jesus, they come as they are. They're told to come as they are. Mm-hmm. So yes, come as you are. But in that process of sanctification, you're being refined. There's things that you ultimately are going to have shed off of you. There's conversations that you're going to have when it comes to like who you are and how some of those things need to be refined. You know what I mean? Not saying that, hey, you can't do this, you can't be that. Like, if you like to listen to, I don't know, trap music or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen to trap music, but you should know, and as a leader, I should be able to tell you that, that trap music can potentially set some in your spirit that can, you know what I'm saying, like have you go a certain way. Or if it's, I don't know, looking at movies or whatever the case, you know what I mean? I like all type of music, so it's not my, thing, but certainly
just being able to call, I can call you out.
And then
why are you laughing, babe?
You're laughing.
No, I'm not.
But in saying that, yes, you accept them as they are. I said, my second engagement, I just couldn't. There were some things that I was not okay with when it comes to communication.
Like deal breakers.
Deal breakers, yes.
Which are important.
Exactly. And you should be able to see those deal breakers before you step into a relationship. But at the end of the day, before you commit to somebody, like you, and during the dating process, the courting process, like you're actually figuring out, all right, is this the person I want to be? If they never change, am I okay with the foundation that this person is? And we can build off that foundation. Yeah. And if she never grows, and I know at least that foundation is sturdy.
And when I look at it, as far as like the topic of accepting a woman for who she is, like it depends on what spirit that comes with, because there's this attitude in our culture
Yeah.
of women that's just like, I don't have to change. You're going to accept me exactly how I am.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work for women now in this age because men have a lot more of the power in the choosing process. We have a lot more. We have a lot more of the power in how many women, like in Atlanta, just in
I
Atlanta.
don't agree with that.
No, what I'm saying is, you have to think about this.
stats.
You have to think about it. In Atlanta, if it's obvious that there's, let's just say 7 women to every one guy, right? So if we're looking at it from a Christian perspective, which we all are, right? We're not looking from a predatory standpoint. We're not talking about just we're sleeping with whoever and all of that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have our choices are different. So if you look at me with an attitude and say, I don't have to there are 7 others. There are 7 others that will adjust.
Jesus.
There are 7 others that will adjust.
Wait.
You can't. So holding that pride, and I'm talking about from a prideful standpoint, and I'm going to give you both sides of it because there are prideful women, and I've encountered them who look at you and just like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and you just have to adjust. But I challenge them in the fact that you're probably going to remain single.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of other girls who will adjust. And then on the other end, the girls there's a difference between I'm prideful and I have a bad attitude and I have a kind of a Jezebelic spirit. And there's a difference between I have to guard my heart because nobody's covering me. So you as a man have to show, because I believe submission from a man to a woman is about responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not about I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It's about I'm responsible. We're equal. We're equal in being, but we're different in function.
Yep.
I'm responsible for you, right? And so if I'm going to get a woman to submit to me, even from a girlfriend perspective, the root foundation is trust. I have to be trustworthy so that she can continue to let down guard and understand that I think the process of dating from a man to a woman perspective is him consistently showing her truth, consistency, that he's trustworthy, that she can count on him so that she can let down her guard and say, you know what, I can make a good choice with this guy because he's going to be a good covering and not a lid. He's going to be a good covering. Yeah. And so that's how I look at that situation. In what spirit do you carry that attitude?
So, okay. Now, I agree with a great portion of what you said, 100%. I love how you broke it down separately. Now, my only concern with what you said is that you hold most of the power in the picking. Now, the reason why I say that is because I believe that my husband was not going to be limited to New York City where I lived. You know what I mean? And I believe that sometimes women, like, they hear stuff like that and they feel like they have to work or earn the man or have to accept things that I don't desire. I agree. You're shaking your head. No, we don't have to accept those things. And I do understand the attitude thing. I get it. But I feel like there's this thing that says to women, you have to settle. Because there's more of me than there are of you. Even my husband said that when we were courting.
I did.
We did. So I said something to you.
I said it.
You did. We were in the car. No, we were in the car and we're driving down the street and we had gotten to an argument. Remember, we were at Agatha's graduation party and you were being snappy towards me. And we got in the car and I was
do
like,
you remember what you said to me?
Hold on, babe. Wait.
Okay. I'm waiting.
So I decided not to address it in front of the whole family. We got in the car and I said, hey, that really hurt my feeling. You embarrassed me. Remember that?
I do remember that.
And then you went off. And
what did you say to me?
And I said, I can have anybody I want.
That's what she said.
I said, I don't deserve for you to talk to me this way.
No.
That's what I said. Thank you.
Hold on.
Fake news.
Fake news.
So I said, so this is what he said. He said, I will pull over on 75 and get out the car.
75. I said, you can get out the car. You can go find whatever that you want. That's what I said.
That is so good.
That's exactly what I said. I said, you can get off right now. I will pull over on 75, 85.
He was crazy, you guys.
And you can go get whatever that you want because I was like, it ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
Because you said there's more of me than there are of you, and I disagree. So my issue when I was single was not, no guys are asking me out. It was a struggle. I felt like any guy I befriended wanted to date me. Like no guys wanted to be my
But
friend.
I feel like to the aspect when we're talking about this Christian walk, how many there's more women in the church than there are men in the church.
That's facts.
At the moment. So if you're looking for a man of God, I feel like ultimately it is a little different,
So we have
as
to
far
settle.
as
No,
you
we're
don't
not.
have to
Earn
settle.
guys.
I don't feel like you have to settle, but I do feel like what Charles was coming from is like we do have like a grander choice. Like we have multiple women that we can go into a church and be like, oh wow, there's about 10 fine women in here. You know what I'm saying? Like
So I
let
can
me
pick
see where her
whoever I
spirit's
want.
at.
So if you cut up, I'm gonna push you to the side. And
No.
find somebody
There's
else.
a difference between I don't want us to get confused with because I believe that both men and women are the prize. Right.
Absolutely.
And so when I look at that situation, I don't think anybody has to accept just anything.
Amen.
I don't believe in that.
Agreed.
But what is the age old saying? Men lie, women lie, but numbers do not lie. Right. And it's very particular what the Bible says in Proverbs 31. He said a virtuous, capable, that kind of woman, who can find her? Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of women out here that you can choose from. But then at the same time, we can't paint this picture as though all of these women that are out here are marriage material.
Exactly.
Right.
Vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but it's interesting though, because the numbers are different. Right. So I can honestly, and I mean, no disrespect when I say this, but that's the attitude of just if you don't want to act right.
But that's how I felt as a single.
Yeah.
That's how I felt though. And I'm a woman. And I just felt like if you're gonna turn up, then I'll meet somebody else. I don't have to sit up here and put up no crap.
Yeah.
And I feel like women are worried about the numbers. They're worried about the statistics.
Let's look at that, babe. So yes, you could go and get anybody else, but let's ask ourselves the question: anybody else that you went to go get, were they interested in marrying you?
Yes. I've turned down proposals. No, I turned down 2 proposals, babe.
Okay. No, that's not even to say that you didn't turn them down, but the ones that you turned down, why did you turn them down?
I didn't feel like I could submit to them.
But see, I think that's the part of this. Yeah, they'll be willing to marry you, but that doesn't necessarily mean
it's
going to be an average sorry marriage because they look at it like, oh, I got the best of what I could get. Is that a bad thing I just said?
No.
I got the best of what I can get, so I'm gonna kind of settle with what I got. I'm not looking to be any more. This is all that I am. You're gonna have to agree with this, or that you would have ultimately had to submit to something that somebody you didn't want to submit to.
Yeah.
So, but I don't feel like I got my question answered. So we're going to take one quick commercial break, and we're going to come right back with my question.
Okay, babe. So every night I look over at you and I notice you're playing Best Fiends. You've got to tell. And you got Logan playing it, our 7-year-old.
And again, because it is amazing. I love it. It's a fun puzzle game. Hey, I've been playing it for a while. I think I'm almost on level 300 and something. I love it. I mean, I love the fact that I can always get new characters. It's always a surprise for me. It's like Christmas came early. I like the fact that I can keep my brain active. I mean, we're relaxing. We're kind of in the house, so I might as well just keep my brain going. And it helps me to do that. I'm invested in Best Fiends. Partly because I like the different levels. I like to keep going in it. And I have my son playing. He's 7 years old. It's absolutely amazing. This is a unique and exciting puzzle experience, unlike other puzzle games out there. Best Fiends updates the games monthly with new levels and events, so it never gets old. I love how they do themed events. So for Christmas and for New Year's, there was always a themed event, which is absolutely amazing. Best Fiends has thousands of levels already with new levels, events, and characters added every month. It's hours of fun right at your fingertips, and you can even play offline. With over 100 million downloads and tons of 5-star reviews, Best Fiends is a must play. Download Best Fiends free on your Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. Download it today, y'all. So we're back, and so we talked about deal breakers last time.
Yes.
And we talked about some deal breakers, and there was a lot of penis talk last time. So I'm glad we got.
I want to hear what did you guys hear what she said?
No, we didn't hear.
Can we just talk? Can we just see what they think from a male's perspective?
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of our guests said when you she said she's going to ask whoever she's courting how big your penis is.
Well, I know it wasn't. I don't think she was going to ask how big the penis was. I think it was going to be a conversation. Oh, I think it's the same thing. I don't know.
So she said,
I don't know.
and I said, so she said, when you in the shower and you pull it out, does it hang? Is it about
She
2,
said,
3,
she
4
said,
inches?
she said, does it sit in your hands or does it grow?
Or does it fall out?
Are you
your
a
hand?
shower or a grower?
So, what do you guys think about that?
That's absolutely inappropriate.
If the
Right?
If the girl you're courting asks how big your penis is,
No, because here's the thing. Let's just flip it.
yeah,
And that's the beautiful thing about those kind of situations. If I'm dating a girl and I'm thinking about marrying her, and I say, tell me about your breast size. Do they hang like really, really low?
Oh,
do you
women, that's
do you
nothing.
have a perky booty? Like, are you willing to do? So I mean, but
for
but
women,
talking,
they're fine with that.
women are
Don't nobody
fine.
want you talking about
with
things.
a-
You know that is not the
Hold on.
case.
Ashay's in the room. Ashay, don't women say, girl, I'm a 34C.
But y'all say
I'm a
that-
But
34C.
y'all say that together. I'm talking about a guy.
I wouldn't mind telling you my bra size.
But
babe.
y'all are married.
When we were courting, I
Nobody
would,
gonna ask you for your titties. I'm not gonna look at them.
thank you. You can't look at a penis.
Oh,
you can't look at a
gosh.
penis like you can look at a butt or boobs. It's not the same.
Well, we don't know. But we don't know.
We don't know
if
what
the-
you really got.
We don't know if
in the world of butt,
we don't know if
in the world of
breast has
butt
been-
pads, push-up bras. We don't know if you got like too much space in between each titty. Like that's very
You've seen a lot.
no. I mean,
But that's
How do you
true.
know that?
That's true.
Wait,
That's-
you gotta pass.
Look, you
I
gotta-
don't know. I just want to know
We
how
used to
many,
get-
how
we-
many titties have you seen, baby?
No. It's in Victoria Magazine.
what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna go down that route. But I think it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's unfair because it's just
Fair.
like
I agree.
now
I agree.
now it's different. And this is I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying it's different if you say, show me yours
Yeah.
and I'll show you mine.
But if we're courting, then we're
Yeah,
with the
that-
intent of marriage.
Absolutely.
we're
You can't
not
do that.
showing. We're not showing that
Exactly.
stuff.
So, and I think also
I think
sometimes
a lot of people are.
That's a
Yeah.
problem. We
I
should
would
do a
I would tell
podcast
the
on
woman
that.
of God, oh, taste and see
oh my
that the Lord is good. Do you have faith, daughter? Understand that thou shalt not be disappointed. Oh Lord.
They're with our
I think-
podcast. Thank you to all of our sponsors.
I think there's a healthy way, like for instance, the example that Charles just gave, he was joking around, but like he didn't specifically say, "Oh, I'm this." You know what I'm saying? He's just like, you won't be disappointed. Trust. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like actually giving a pictorial, like a vision, an image in your head to imprint that image now starts to fester temptation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel like that isn't appropriate. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you tell them, oh, well, I'm this size. Now she in her head dreaming about it at night. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait.
I don't think so. If they're engaged, my thing is this: if you have a micro penis, she's like,
She
I
needs
want
to know.
You see what I'm saying?
Look, I mean,
But here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. Like most guys, the guys who've got micro penis, are they really out here just dating freely? Because in the end, you could be a great guy, handsome guy, and got a micro penis, and in the end, it's just a disappointing situation.
yeah.
I've counseled women with husbands that are micro penises, and they got married, waited to kiss till they got married, and then she's like, I don't feel
She's
anything.
upset.
Remember that?
Yeah.
How I've been
They're
working
upset.
with her. She's like, I don't feel anything. I don't know what to do. Even after children, she's like, it's just, I don't feel anything. So it's just,
I get it. I get it.
But
Guys, if you have a micro penis, be honest.
be honest.
So-
Be like,
There needs to be
you might be
a
disappointed.
micro penis
Hold on,
app.
Be disappointed.
Oh my God.
There needs to be a micro penis
If I would've
group on
asked you-
Facebook.
If I would have asked you how big your penis was when we were courting, what would you have said to me?
I probably would have told you that you won't be disappointed, that you don't have anything to worry about. I don't think that was
You wouldn't tell me I'm
Personally-
not being classy.
I would have been like, I would have been like, well, we're like, what are you thinking about? Like, are we really having that conversation? Are we really going down this route? I mean, basically we had conversations about sex, and
We
we
did.
talked about like what we wanted to do, and how you wanted to do it and all that kind
Or
of
like
stuff.
expectations of how many times a week,
Expectations, how many
stuff like
times a
that
week.
when we
And
were
I think-
engaged.
I think inside of that conversation, that can be a very sticky situation because with that, you want to have some boundaries with it. You don't want to go too far.
Exactly.
I think in saying something like, don't worry about it, like you won't be disappointed. You're going to be
That's
okay.
fair.
You'll be fine. And then if there's a lie in that, then that needs to be that. You just need to be straight up. You need to be honest.
Yeah.
Listen, if you get engaged, ladies, if you get engaged to a guy who has a micro penis and you find out on your honeymoon, listen.
Why? Listen, what? I'm so nervous.
I don't.
Wait, she waited for God's best and you're telling her to annul it? Is that what we're doing? Bruh.
No.
What are you gonna do?
Wait.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about this.
Are we really gonna skip over that?
Yes, we are.
No, because there's people listening right now that are married to men with micro
No,
penises.
because that is not a cause for divorce.
Because if you
not a cause
asked,
for
but if
divorce.
you asked and they lied to you,
that is not
No,
a cause
but
for
lying is
divorce.
still not a
Lying
reason
is
to get
not a
divorced.
cause for divorce.
I feel like there's some there's some opportunity for
That is not a cause
intimacy to
for
be done. In
we need to
different
do
ways.
like some kind of a
There
Investigation.
There is an opportunity for intimacy to be done in different ways, and preferably there are things that could possibly help him, like there's surgeries and stuff.
absolutely.
Isn't there like penis pumps?
I don't know. I've never used it. I have no idea.
I don't, but I'm coming from the angle of you talk. We preface this conversation with asking,
Yes.
right? And I think it's very, very bad to lie.
Yeah.
If our whole, that's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from the angle of being okay with divorce, because God hates divorce. But when something is built on the foundation of consistent lies instead of just being honest, I think that's bad. Because if a girl told me all of the things, because there are people who bait and switch you.
Yeah.
Who tell you all the things that they're going to do and the things
That's
that they
true.
believe
That's
and the
true.
places in which and the foundations on which they stand. And then when they get you, they turn into a whole different person.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe for another podcast, it's just how do you navigate
That's
being
real.
because
That'd be a good podcast.
how do you navigate
Unmet expectations.
It's not even unmet expectations. It's you just did a deal with Satan, the father of lies.
He told you, you ain't got nothing to worry about, and then on your honeymoon, now you got something to worry about.
Because if you got all of these daughters of God who out here waiting patiently, not kissing, not having sex, not being out here being thoughts, and then to get to this point where you encounter, I'm not even going there. But
knows what a thought is.
and so when you get to that place where it's finally time, you get to that place where it's finally time to consummate after all of that patience and faithfulness to God, and this joker lied to you and told you all of the stuff. Or told you, let's take it in another direction. He told you he made a certain amount of money. He told you he worked in a certain place. He told you he knew a certain amount of people. He told you he had a certain amount of assets. And then when it comes down, when the junk hits the fan, he doesn't have it. That's what I'm saying. I think that's
a really
that's evil. It's evil to do somebody like that.
And I think for those couples who are listening, or those people who are listening who find themselves in that situation, I think that counseling is important. Absolutely. I think that sitting down, talking with somebody, because your case may not be similar to somebody else's. And what we don't want to do is and I love how Charles painted it. We're not providing a blanket response saying to just go out there, get a divorce because the person lied. Counseling is definitely appropriate. We live in a fallen world.
Yeah.
Because we live in a fallen world, we are fallen people. We do not always get it right. Sometimes we mess up. And when you mess up, you need to be right to make it up. But we're gonna take our last break. I'm gonna come right back after this. I want to finally be able to answer to ask my question. Okay. Now we're back. And so here's my question. Now, this is right along the lines of your deal breakers. So before we get ready to close here, we're talking about deal breakers. But in the beginning, both of y'all mentioned fine. Both of y'all mentioned fine and mature.
Mm-hmm.
What is fine? Because if somebody's out there listening, they're saying, okay, you want somebody who's fine and mature, let's just say that the fine and mature that you want, what does fine look like? How can we define fine?
So for me, when I walk in the room, like my eyes like have to be focused on you. Like if I walk in the room and my attention, like you don't grasp my attention, like I don't see you. You know what I'm saying? For me, I don't see that as fine. Like you have to captivate me.
So
you know?
is that about the way she looks? Is it about the way she carries herself? Is that her
It's a
aura?
combination of everything. You know, like if I walk in the room and there's a fine girl, but she over there, you know, snapping her neck and throwing her wrist and stuff, it's like,
oh,
that's a lot of stuff going on right now. You know, like she got a lot of too much with her. You know, that's too much drama. I don't want that. That's not attractive to me. You know what I'm saying? But if I walk in the room and she put together real nice, she's really nice. She got a nice face structure, all that, got hair going, whatever. Like she's looking good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's carrying herself in a decent way. I'm gonna be like, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
She's fine. She's reserved, but I want to know what's behind that. I want to approach her. I want to see what she's about. And then as I continue to learn about her beauty, or to me, my attraction to her could either increase or decrease.
Yeah.
Because behind the veil is where you start to really find out who this person really is and whether or not that attraction is going to decrease or increase.
Yeah.
For me, it's because I look at it like this. There are a lot of girls who are sexy, who aren't beautiful.
Hold on. Break it down.
So there are, so you can see, you know, even just scrolling through your Discover page on social media, you can see a lot of fine girls, sexy, but what they exude through social media is not beauty. They don't. And when I look at the difference, if I can talk to her and we can talk for hours, and she has a great sense of humor and she's kind to other people, and she's very sensitive to those who are in need, if she's very sensitive to the presence of God, if she loves the word, if she loves children and she's just soft and gentle and not quarrelsome, that's beauty to me.
Yeah.
So I think for me, balancing beauty with being fine. Are you aesthetically pleasing? And do you carry yourself in such a way that, because I think it's just like a book, you know, if I like the outside cover of the book and then I'm looking on the inside cover of the book and I'm looking at the table of contents and I read the preface and the introduction, I'm like, yo, I want to see what else is going on in this book and I want to see it to the end. And that's how I view it. As far as deal breakers, like details, are we going there?
I mean, I think if you had your top three, what was your top three? But before you answer that question, are you on a dating site?
No, absolutely not.
We never asked them what dating was like in 2020. That was the first question we asked.
Difficult.
See, I want to get to that question.
I think difficult.
Well, I mean, I was asking.
Go ahead, baby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby.
I never got to ask mine.
I'm sorry, baby. I thought you asked it.
I feel like that old dude on the Family Guy was saying, Herbert, I never got a chance to ask my question.
Baby, ask all the questions.
No, I don't care. You can ask, but I do want to know. So, dating site?
No.
Are you a dating site type of guy?
No.
Were you on a dating site?
Nope.
Wow. I wonder what kind of men like push themselves to go on dating sites. I mean, not to say there's a certain type, but I just wonder like what that is.
Considering how we want to matchmaking. You want to matchmake people.
I don't want to matchmake people, baby.
I do.
That is something that you do and you do well. That is not something that I want to put my hands in.
Okay.
I don't know. But going back to it, dating in 2020, how's it for you?
In top three.
Are you in a relationship right now?
No, not in a relationship.
You also asked that too, baby.
What?
Top three deal breakers.
Top three deal breakers. Yes.
Okay. Dating in 2020. For me personally, it's plenteous in potential. But I'm not exploring anything with anybody. I'll go to lunch.
Where do you meet people?
Where do I meet people? Most of the encounters that I have with people,
Target, Walmart.
No, most of the encounters that I have with people are via social media.
Okay.
DMs.
Yeah, DMs. So
you take them out and then you're like this.
No, take them out. Like I've been on. I would say this year I've probably been on 2 lunch dates.
Okay, since January.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I've been on 2 lunch dates and they haven't been, there hasn't been another one after that. Not that there was anything wrong with the girls.
Did they reach back out to you and say,
yeah, we would talk here and there and stuff like that. But right now, my focus is different. It's not that there wasn't anything there. It was, I know that when you encounter, and I think this is really important, when you encounter a woman of God and she's of a certain age and of a certain belief system, she has a certain expectation and she has certain desires. She wants to be married and she wants kids.
ASAP.
I am not going to take you around the mountain over and over again, knowing that's your desire and knowing that my speed is different from yours.
So you're 30. What's
30
your
years
speed?
old. My speed is in a building mode. I'm in a building mode, focusing. No. I want kids. I want a wife. I want all of that.
You'd be a great dad.
But right now, I am focused on building and focusing on the things that God has put on my heart to do and not being distracted and running and not saying that there's not a woman that could help, not saying that any of those things. But right now, my desire, and I believe the Lord gives you the desires of your heart. My desire is to be by myself, focusing on the things that God has put on my heart. No, there's a difference. But there's a difference between, because I think communication and intent is important. I don't go out with people without them knowing where I am. You know what I'm saying? And
for a woman, that's different though. You might have that sense, but for a woman, she thinks like, oh, he's taking me out.
Well, women have to be personally responsible and listen. Because if I tell you,
just got hot.
Because
she's hoping you're gonna change your mind.
But hoping that I change my mind versus I specifically told you this is where I am. I will go to Starbucks with you. And we can get to know each other, but this is where I am.
For what though?
Because I think friendship is very important. Friendship is the foundation of a lasting relationship. So if we sit down and we're just cool, you never know what'll happen in a year. You don't know what'll happen in 2 years. That seed of a friendship could blossom into a marriage. But if you're immediately going into the situation thinking all I want is a husband and I don't want to build any friendship after I've told you that this is where I am. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, then we don't have to go out.
I think that most women are frustrated right now because the same sentiment that Charles just stated as a single man is what I get from majority of the single men I know. They are in their 30s, 20s and 30s, and I'm fine. They're in their 20s and their 30s, and they are focused on building, but not building. And let me preface this the right way. The women are focused on building too, but they're focused on building a family. Y'all want to build a marriage. The man is focused on building a foundation. He's trying to build his finances. He's trying to build his house. He's trying to build all these other things. And the woman is like, but I'm going out with you because I'm trying to build something with you. I'm trying to build this life, this marriage.
I think it's beautiful.
But I believe that some of these men that are building, not just you, men in general, will not reach their highest potential until they have the help meet that God placed in their life to get to that place. Think about it, babe. There's a certain level you didn't get to until we got together. There's a certain level I didn't get to until we got together. It's two coming together and being 10,000. The Bible says one can take on 1,000 and two can take on 10,000.
I am not saying that what you're saying is not correct, because I absolutely believe that two can do greater than one. But what I am saying is that I believe that the main point of frustration is the fact that both the man and the woman are building, but they're building in two different directions. Yeah. And they're frustrated because she's like, I'm going to lunch with you because I want to be married. Because you're single, you're intelligent, you got your head on strong, you love God. I hear you singing. Like, I just saw your Facebook post. You were talking about a number of people who admired you. Just the women's response underneath that. I mean, this woman was talking about, the way that some of these women even responded, how much they wanted you in public.
Whoa.
I was like, good, crazy. But they see that. So they're like, oh, I get a date with you, but they're looking to build a marriage with him. They're looking to build kids with him.
So who are you,
church
babe?
with him.
Because you're 22 years old.
I was 22 years
when
old.
I met you, and on our very first date, we sat down. I couldn't even say hello before you said, when we get married, will you move to Atlanta?
But you had to understand something. The premise of my request and the premise of my question came because I believe that I heard I was compelled by God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because before I met you, my desire was not to necessarily be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because I was focused at that point. I just got excited about going home by myself because I was in relationships before that. And I was like, I don't really now I got to ask her, can I go to the movies by myself? I got to ask, can I go do this? I had to ask when I'm going to the grocery store. Do you want anything? I had just got comfortable being able to just go to the grocery store, getting one box of Frosted Flakes and chilling out with that one box, eating from paper plates and not having to worry about somebody, did you wash your dishes? No, I ain't washing my dishes. You wash, I ain't got to worry about that stuff. But I was cool being me.
Yeah.
And I worried about you. So worried about the other person because you weren't in the picture. But I believe I was compelled by God. And I think until a man has that compelling by God, then he's focused on something else. Adam's still sleeping.
So it doesn't matter. Hold on. If God tells you guys that that the woman you met is going to be your wife, like you did, are you willing to accept the attitude if you feel like God told you this person was the one that you're supposed to
When you say
marry?
accept the attitude.
I don't like the one.
In the beginning.
Not the one. I know you don't
not
believe
the
in that
one.
either. I know you don't believe in
I
that.
don't believe in the one. If God presented a choice, an Eve to you, and you've noticed there's maybe the attitude, or maybe there's some type of conflict, some issue, are you still going to be willing to work through it, or say there's 7 more of you to look at?
Come on,
No,
Gomer.
I know that's because I think
I said, come on, Gomer.
I think that comes down to maturity.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things that you recognize from being married and divorced, you understand that there is going to be conflict.
Preach.
And there's a difference between perfection and that woman is perfect for me because God gave her to me.
Yeah.
And if God says that is your wife, right? Now I accept that's my promise. Now I also have to accept all of the rough places that we're going to have to go through with our personalities, right?
That's real.
And I'm very okay with that. What I was saying before was that I don't mind because I believe in friendship. And I believe that the woman that I'm going to marry is going to be my friend first. We are going to be able to laugh, roast each other, have a good time. And when somebody says, hey, would you like to go out to lunch with me? And I say, why? Because if you know anything about me, he talks to me all the time. He knows that I'm straightforward. Yes. I say exactly what I mean clearly.
I have a question from a woman's perspective based on what you just said. So if a woman says, you're saying, I want us to be friends, right? Because we got to have that foundation. How many female friends do you have currently?
How many female friends do I have currently that are platonic?
Yes.
I have a plethora of women who are friends who know that they are friends.
But you just said,
as many as I have guys.
But you just said we have to have that foundation. In a woman's mind, that means at some point you could change your mind and we could go from friends to so much more.
I answered before when he said it was her responsibility because now she's changing the dynamic of the relationship based on her expectations, and that's not
wrong.
Fair.
I don't
That's
feel
not
like
fair.
That's
wrong.
That's like you can't just say like women can't just say, well, this is how I feel as a woman.
Do you flirt with your friends?
Oh,
no.
I see, but men don't realize they're flirting. I'm sorry. I see men, I'm just saying general. I see men, and I experienced this at my old church, men that would flirt with me. We're all friends. We're all hanging out. But you flirting.
It's attention. I think
define flirt.
Come up to me, put your arm up, pick me up. You know what I mean? Or hey, let's go. They would flirt with me. They would give me attention. And for a woman, it's like a desires for her husband, a desires for a man's attention to feel loved and wanted and accepted. So some of these women feel like they're in the waiting room. They're like, are you going to switch off and are we going to be together? But what happens is then all of a sudden you meet this bombshell, you're head over heels, you get married, and now you no longer have any more female friends because they all liked you. and they hate your new wife. And they hate
The
your
way
new
I
wife.
shrugged my shoulders was just that's tough.
But they were never your friends then.
But they were.
Yeah, they absolutely were. They were my friends who had a secret expectation that I didn't know anything about.
And that's why. But that's also why I don't think that men and women can be friends in that way.
Me either.
Because somebody's going to always have that secret idea of what things supposed to be, and that's not right.
I agree.
But nonetheless, we've met our cap on time at this
so
point.
good.
I want, if you could just tell everybody again who you are and also where they can find you, where they can look you up.
My name is Charles James on Facebook. I'm Charles James on Instagram. I am at _CHARLESEN charge. Charles in charge on Instagram.
And Charles is our worship leader for people.
Yeah.
So you guys have seen
And
him
at the Go Church.
And at the Go Church.
So you guys have seen him lead worship. He's so anointed, and I just can't wait to introduce you to your wife. I'm so convinced.
Oh my!
I'm so convinced. I can introduce him. It's like I want to find the perfect girl for you, but it's fine. Let's keep going.
My name is Zacchaeus Jackson. You can find me at Here Is Zacchaeus on Instagram. That's at Here Is Zacchaeus on Instagram and all social platforms, as well as Facebook. You can find me at Zacchaeus Jackson.
Well, perfect, y'all. We thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Life with the Lindseys. I pray that you were edified. I pray that you were encouraged, and I pray that you were also entertained, because I'm quite confident that you got a great deal of entertainment from this. Make sure you also share this with all your friends, your family, and make sure that you subscribe. We love your comments. We love it when you post it and when you tag us. This is Cornelius on Instagram. My wife is Heather L. Love. You can also find us at CorneliusLindsey.com and also Heather L. Lindsey.com, Pinky Promise Conference.com for the women's conference, and UnleashedMen.com. I just released a daily devotional, so go to UnleashedMen.com, click on daily devotional at the top, and you can get a free daily word that comes directly from me. I spend time with God, then I give that word to you. God bless y'all. We cannot wait to be with y'all again next week. Bye.